Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Thursday night live stream hangout. My name's Jason. This is just Jason Keto. We live stream usually every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. That might change a little bit, but I'll sort of get into that in a little bit. And we release a new video every weekend. It has usually been Sundays at 5 p.m. Eastern as well. But that might change as well. So, like I say, we'll get into that in a little bit. I'll just take a look and see who is here so far. Carrie was pulling up to the live stream early, and then we had Brenda drop in at before the live stream as well. So thanks for coming in early. Carrie's saying, just realized that when the pigs take off their blankets, they're just sausage. Yeah. Sounds about right to me. Lynn is in the house. Thanks for coming, Lynn. Carrie was given a can of red beans and a bag of lentils today. Going to see what I can do since I have one last keto chow made up. Yeah, I'm not really sure. That's kind of things that I never really even had before keto, so I'm not sure what you can do with them, but hopefully there's some way you can put them to good use for sure. P&J's Homestead Adventure, good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Amy's here. Thanks for coming by, Amy. Good to see you. Scratching Pete's here. Always coming in to show support, so much appreciated. Joe's here, Reichwin96. Thank you for coming in. Like I said, appreciate any time that anyone can spend with me on these Thursday nights. Nothing too serious or too exciting. We just hang out, see where the chat takes us and get caught up. I couldn't. So last week didn't work out for me for live streaming, but it's I do appreciate you coming in, and I enjoy catching up with everybody on a Thursday night. Ann Philbeck, thank you for coming in. Ann, I don't know if you came over from Gail and Heather's live stream last night. Let me know if that's where you, because I'm pretty sure I saw your name on that live stream last night. But welcome, Henry. How you doing? Hope you're doing good tonight. Just got off the treadmill. Now I can eat bacon cheeseburger casserole. Sounds good. Hopefully everyone can hear me all right. I'm assuming you can, or someone would have said you couldn't by now. But yeah, hopefully everyone is having a good Thursday so far, and enjoy hanging out for sure. Okay, I just read the pig in a blanket thing. Yeah. We need clothes hangers just to hang out. We do. Just want to make sure we don't miss anything. Okay, so yeah, you did come in from Gail and Heather's live stream. Really enjoyed that last night. If you haven't checked it out, Gail's Southern Living. I was live on her channel last night with Heather from Milk and Honey Homestead, or Milk and Honey Home. I think it's Homestead Farms, or I can't remember the full name of her channel, but we sort of did a live stream last night talking about healthy habits, and they brought me on to sort of talk about my experience with keto. They've had lots of other guests on the channel talking about other uh, other healthy lifestyles like carnivore and high protein, and all the other different ideas out there. So yeah, it was a good conversation. I'm not definitely not too familiar with that side of the interview. I've done a lot of sort of been on the interviewer side of things. Uh, but it's nice once in a while to be on the other side of things and, try and tell my story and uh, sort of have someone else run the the interview, so to speak. So, what do we got? That does sound good. Bacon cheeseburger casserole. Absolutely. Does sound good. Okay, you can hear me all the way in Texas. That's good. I noticed the live stream is buffering a little bit here, so I don't know what's going on with that, but hopefully nothing's going on with the internet. The only thing I made a change to was last weekend. I had to install a network switch to hook up a new TV, so hopefully that's not messing with things, but we'll have to keep an eye on that. Ann saying, I want to start keto again. I did so well on it. Don't know why I stopped. Yeah, and it's one of those things, Ann, that sometimes life just gets in the way and, things do change. And, uh, it is definitely something that happens a lot. But hopefully you can get back onto it and see some more results from it. Like I say, seeing the results is one thing, but feeling the results to me is a completely different thing, and that's sort of why I stick to it. It's more the way I feel, as opposed to sort of the way I look. I'm not complaining about looking better and fitting in smaller clothes and stuff like that, but it's mostly about how I feel in the long run. So yeah, Milk and Honey Heritage Farms. I knew it was one of those. Amy, having a great week. Went to the doctor yesterday. I'm deprescribed from all medications but one. She said I don't need to come back for a year. Well, there you go. That's what we like to hear for sure. Thanks for posting that. Yeah, if you want to check it out, it was a fun like a fun live stream. Again, I have been on that side of the interview a few times, but it's not something I've done a lot, but definitely fun to do once in a while. Matt Mouse in the house. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Hope you're doing good tonight. Been watching your preparations for the camping trip, getting your camping rig all put together. I watched your fight with a diesel heater there last night. If you ever want to be interviewed, I would, just let me know, Amy. If you want to do that, we can definitely do an interview. We should set something up where, 1 week I'll come and meet your audience, and then you can come over here for the next week or whatever, and we can just introduce each other to all of our audiences. The keto community is fairly well, it's not small, but a lot of us we're going to have the same sort of audience, but it's always good to tell each other stories on YouTube. I think, again, it's I like other people's stories to be heard, just in case, it's something that can resonate with just one person and help them if they need to make a change. So that's why I'm always willing to, tell my story as well. Not buffering on your end. Good. I just saw it happening It's funny. I always watch, I have one screen that's got StreamYard running on it so I can watch there. And then I also watch it on the actual YouTube page just to make sure things are going as they should, kind of thing. And so that I can do anything in the live chat that I need to, kind of thing. Let's make sure we didn't miss anything. We completely missed that live stream. No worries. Yeah, it was lots of fun. Like I say, I've been on Gail's channel before a couple of years ago. She had me on for the same kind of interview. But this is a sort of a weekly live stream they do, help bring different ideas to their YouTube channel. So Coastal Waters here. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Matt Mouse, spoilers, it gets better. The diesel heater blew up. Well, that's no good. Let's make sure we're not missing anyone. Rick from Twin Brook Acres is in the house. Thanks for coming by, Rick. Good to see you. Yeah, would love to see you and Amy on each other's channels. Yeah, we'll make that happen for sure. It's easy enough to set up, so we'll definitely get that in the works. We have our things sort of continuing here on this channel as they have been. And then we'll have episode number 3 of the I Was Challenged series of videos coming up on May 7th, I believe, which is a Wednesday. So it'll be myself, P&J's Homestead Adventure, and then Kendra from Consume the Goodness as well. That's the 3 of us so far participating in episode 3. If anyone else wants to join in the fun, if you have the desire to create or to try a new recipe and challenge another creator with a recipe, then feel free to email me. Let me know if you want to join in. It's an open collaboration. We're looking for new creators that want to join in it. The only thing, as I've said before, is that we want to try and keep it to somewhat healthy recipes. We don't really want to include things like, making pizza or high carb kinds of meals and stuff like that. Sort of keep it in the same sort of idea for all the videos. Now, it doesn't have to necessarily be keto or carnivore or anything. It was just something because some of the creators are living a keto lifestyle kind of thing. So we want to make sure that everybody can participate, basically. So yeah, if you have a YouTube channel, you want to drop your link, just type #Thrive in the chat. Nightbot just said the same thing. Nightbot will drop your link for you. Love watching interviews like that. They can really dive in and get different insight as the different questions come in. Yeah, absolutely. And there was lots of good questions last night at Gail's live stream. So yeah, I always enjoy getting questions from people in the chat and then trying to answer them to the best of my ability anyways. Do I raise chickens? I don't. I'm not even sure what our bylaws are about chickens here. I don't, because technically I live in the country, but I do live in a a high density subdivision kind of thing. So chances are I could probably if I wanted to, but then, that probably wouldn't be the happiest neighbors, let's say, kind of thing. Or maybe they would, who knows? But I don't. I know lots of people that do. There's lots of people here that raise chickens, so I would definitely make use of having chickens. I eat enough eggs, that's for sure. Make sure we're not forgetting anything. Yeah, if you can hit that thumbs up, would definitely be appreciated. It helps the live stream. Tiffany is here. Thanks for coming in. It's good to see you. Rick made some low carb ice cubes. That's about the only recipe I know. Well, you got to start somewhere, Rick. Well, and everyone has their own story. I'm 7 years in and I'm still in. Yep, exactly. And that the thing is that, having your own story, I think a lot of, and what I've noticed by doing, 30 to 40 different interviews is that a lot of people ultimately start for different reasons. Most of us wind up sort of down the same path, generally speaking, but there are a wide spread of different reasons why people start changing their lifestyle. There are different motivations, there are different reasons why, and that's what I like to share with the community, because that's, the reason why you want to make a change is the biggest part as far as I'm concerned. And, if your why can help someone else realize that that's why they want to change as well, then I think that can make a big difference. Tiffany's working on getting Rick some recipes. Cool. If you gave your neighbors eggs, they probably wouldn't complain. Yeah, you're probably right for sure. Oh, Gary's here. Good to see you, Belt Loop 29. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for being here. Everyone's saying hi. I have a big bag of non-fat milk powder. I know I can make ice cream. I also need to get cheap fat to put in with it. Yep. Best reason to do it is just so you feel better, more comfortable in your skin. Yep. Yeah. And like I was saying earlier, I'm not going to complain about the fact that I, am more comfortable with the way I, physically look, and I enjoy being able to shop for smaller clothes and all that nowadays. But at the end of the day, it's just for me how I feel overall, day to day kind of thing. So it's they all go hand in hand, I guess. But ultimately, if you can look your best, but if you feel crappy, then is it really worth it? So that's the way I look at it anyways. What is the cheapest fat you can get? Just wondering. I'll have a look. That's a good question, Carrie. I don't know. I've never looked at sort of fat sources. Butter definitely is not or at least here is not a cheap sort of option these days. Unfortunately, I go through a lot of butter, so I try and buy it whenever I can get it on sale. I load up on it. But yeah, maybe other people have sort of ideas what good alternatives or what good sources of fat would be available at a more reasonable price. Like I know sometimes you can get tallow that isn't super expensive, but tallow is depending on what you're trying to do with it, if you're trying to cook with it, then that's one thing. But if you're adding it to things like keto chow, I just don't know that beef tallow would be the ultimately a good option as far as taste goes. So, do I remember the last non-keto meal you had before diving into the lifestyle? That's a good question. It probably had something to do with steak and potatoes and stuff like that. The funny, well, not the funny thing is, but the one thing is that uh, I'd cut out gluten from my diet for 4 or 5 years before I even went keto. So the sort of typical pasta, pizza kind of foods that I had before going gluten free wasn't even something that was in my diet at the time I started keto. Um, but I was eating a lot of rice and potatoes and stuff like that. So uh, they probably had something to do with that, anyways. I think I missed. Oh, yeah. Okay. So Gary's doing low carb, not being really strict with it. Again, it's making small changes. Paul and Jason will be the first ones to say that the small changes can make big differences. And you say you're feeling better. So really that is ultimately the goal, right? My favorite part is being able to walk and not have to use handicap tag for parking. That is definitely a win as far as I'm concerned. Now 11 pounds and holding. Simple changes have helped me for sure. A few more to go though. Yep. But again, you're on the right track. Most of the population out there, unfortunately, the trend is in the other way. Like it's even if you can say to yourself, okay, well, I weighed myself last month and I weighed myself this month and I'm the same weight. As far as I'm concerned, that's a win too. Not gaining weight is a win just as much as losing weight is, and that's unfortunately the slow gain. For myself, it was a fairly slow progression in the weight that I gained. The funny thing is that it was when I switched from gluten-free or from eating just regular whatever to gluten-free, that's when I actually started gaining weight faster because I was eating a lot of rice and potatoes and all that because I couldn't have the pasta and stuff that I was having before. So, like I say, it's all good, and my power just flickered, so I may have lost internet. Hopefully not. We'll see what happens. I just heard my battery backup click over here on the computer, so hopefully it didn't go off long enough to kill the internet. Butter isn't cheap here either. The meat isn't cheap yet. It's crazy everywhere. Carry and butter, meat, eggs, they're all so much more expensive than they really need to be. I don't know if you have access to bacon, but I save my bacon grease as that fat is free. Yep. You can also get the butcher and ask for fat scraps and make your own tallow. Yeah, that's a good idea too. If you can get to know a butcher and ask them if they have some cutoffs, some trimmings that you can get, then you can render them down and make your own beef tallow. All out of keto chow. Used up the big bag that someone gave me. The last one that I was gifted was chocolate toffee, and that was good. Yeah, that's one of the only ones I've tried was the chocolate toffee. It is pretty good. Dr. John Smith, mine was a huge plate of spaghetti with meat sauce. Oh, that sounds really good. That was definitely one of my favorite things for sure. Actually, beef tallow works well with Keto Chow. In 2023 at KetoCon, Keto Chow had the Wagyu beef tallow and the chocolate core there. Tasted like a chocolate donut. Yeah, that sounds good too, for sure. Had to go out with a big bang. Yep, for sure. Legends Gaming 667 is in the house. Thank you for coming by. Yep. Thankfully, my computer will stay on for a quick power outage, but my modem's not on a battery backup. So thankfully, I guess it just tripped for a second or something and stayed on long enough. So hopefully that's all it's going to do. I don't know why it would have done that, because it's the weather's nice here today. So body shape changes, even weight stays the same. Every time I do this, I feel very tired for a while, and then it's like a switch is turned on and lots more energy than I had before I started. Yep, absolutely. Body recomposition is the biggest thing. I find, and from talking to people in the community, it turns, it seems to be more of a, like females see more of a body recomposition before they see the weight loss on the scale kind of thing. Whereas males tend to see movement on the scale quicker. But yeah, definitely and as far as the energy thing goes, yeah, as soon as your body switches from using glucose for energy to using the fat that is stored on your body for energy, that energy rush can come on pretty good. So yeah, thankfully things stayed running tonight. It's weird. I don't usually get that kind of issue here, but no, we're still alive. Easiest diet lifestyle we have ever done. I love not being bloated. We hardly eat bread anymore. Yep. And again, like I was saying last night on that interview too, is that we all really have to just find out what works best for us. Keto doesn't work for everyone. Carnivore doesn't work for everyone. Paleo isn't for everyone. We have to figure out, Paula and Jason are eating the Paula and Jason diet, right? And that's what's working for them. That's what makes them feel better. That's what's, keeping them happy with what they're doing. So, that's what the best diet is for them, and I'm all for that. I would rather see people just make small changes and do what works for them, because again, that's what's going to be sustainable long term. So Martha makes art. Went low carb in January. I've lost 25 pounds and getting around better. That's awesome. So again, what is that? January, February, March, April. So, that right there shows you how easy it is to make big changes like that. So, everyone's saying hi. Meat place here, they sell it. HEB is a Texas store, and they say they send it off. Okay. What is Keto Chow? I think I saw a couple of people answer that, but yeah, Keto Chow is I don't think I have any down here, but it is basically a meal replacement product. I think Brenda was saying it's a meal replacement product that, was originally designed as to be made up as like a shake, like a meal replacement shake kind of thing. Each packet has all the nutrients you need for the day kind of thing. And, you make it up with your own source of fats like butter or what have you. And then, but it seems um, the um, one of the biggest uses I've seen from people for keto chow is they like to make ice cream out of it, which I've never tried. I don't personally use it. I've made a couple of recipes, like the one Paula shared there with the butterscotch keto chow chaffles that I made. I've never actually used it as what it's meant to be used as, kind of thing. I don't really particularly prefer to drink my meals. I'd rather, eat them, but that's just me, It's a product, but it's a good quality product. And, that's the way it's always with things that I do recommend. I always want to make sure that anything that I'm going to say, go ahead and give it a try if you want, is going to have good ingredients. And I know Chris and Miriam over there at Keto Chow, it's all about making sure that the ingredients are top-notch quality. So that's all that really matters. Ultimately, it's a processed product and it's made to taste really good. So just keep that in mind. But shouldn't say a problem. It's just that we can't get it. Well, we can get it here in Canada from one distributor, a place called Switch Grocery has it. It's an online distributor. They're the only ones that sell it in Canada. Because buying it direct from Keto Chow is just unreasonably expensive because of shipping. So they've made it available through this company here in Canada, but it would appear that this company has decided to basically try and gouge people for the product. Like their prices are, to me, insane. Like I think with the discount, which is available through hundreds of creators, you can buy the single serving packages for under $5, I think, from the company direct if you're in the US. Here through this Switch Groceries, they want $35 Canadian for 3 servings of Keto Chow, which to me is just insanity, and $149 for a 21 serving bag. And they don't even give you free shipping until you spend over $150. Like this just, I'm all for small businesses trying to make money and all that, but personally, I hope nobody is paying that money for it, because I don't really care how good a product it is. It's not worth that much money. So that's my rant for this week. I just don't understand it. I don't know that anyone's going to do anything about it. Not that I really care, but it's just odd to me that you've got, and I know the reason is because they are the only distributor in Canada. So they can basically charge whatever they want. They either sell it or they don't. So, yep, Paul and Jason diet. That's the only one that anyone should be following. Yeah, I saw Kendra sneak in here. It's good to see you, Kendra. Kendra will be the third channel in the I Was Challenged series this week. It was actually Kendra's sort of idea to come up with this, and we brainstormed and came up with how things are working so far. Hopefully everyone's enjoying the series so far. It's been a lot of fun to participate in. Still haven't tried Keto Chow. Yeah, like I say, I've never tried it the way it should be either. But lots of people like it, and that's, I like keto bricks, and a lot of people don't like keto brick. So that's just the way it is. You either like something or you don't like it. Personally, I like to be able to, and if you don't know what a keto brick is, it's a basically a brick of uh, of something you can eat that's got perfect keto macros and it's got good ingredients. It's a meal replacement bar, basically, but it's not like the usual tiny little bars you see. It's like 1,000 calorie bar. But again, I like them. A lot of people don't. It's the same with other products, sort of thing. Let's make sure. Brenda's saying I make the creamies with keto chow. Yep, that's that sort of seems to be what a lot of people do with it. Is making the or they even just make the shakes and put it in the fridge or the freezer, and then afterwards you can just spoon it out. And it sounds good to me for sure. But again, it's not something that really would fulfill or satisfy what I like out of a meal. But again, it has, it's a great product for certain situations for sure. I love my keto chow, but if I have it as a shake, I'm hungry about 5 minutes later, so I just make ice cream and use it. Cool. Maybe I won't be trying to try keto chow super quick. Well, again, if you buy it, you can buy it from the States pretty cheap, Kendra. There, and if you look at any of the keto channels that you're probably following, at least one or two of, most of them are affiliates for keto chow, and they can get you a 10% discount. So I would look for one of those before you buy some if you want to try it. I would send you some that I have, but I don't know. Well, let me think about that. I have some that I'll probably never use. If you really want to try it, I'll forward it on down to you. Yes, that is very pricey for sure. Thanks for sharing that playlist. Yeah, if you haven't checked out the I Was Challenged series of videos, it's a lot of fun getting together with other creators and challenging each other to make things that they either don't make very often or don't make your version of, kind of thing. It's always fun. Reese's Clutter Kitchen is here. Thank you for coming in. I haven't tried a keto or carnivore brick either. Yeah, keto brick is another one of those products, though, that again, there are a lot of people that don't really like them. What I will say is they are pretty high in sodium, which is some of the complaints that I've heard about them from people, is that they're too salty. Again, that's something that I personally really like. In fact, if I'm what I do is I take that keto brick, which is 1,000 calories, and I melt it down in the microwave, and then I turn it into like 10 little 100-calorie bites. And I'll even add more salt to it as I'm mixing it up, because that's, I'm just funny that way, or weird, whatever you want to call it. Time for me to duck out, get my nighttime stuff done. Thanks for coming by, Dr. John Smith. I appreciate any time you can spend with me and these live streams. I have a keto chow shake every day. The new coconut cream pie flavor is delicious, and I'm so happy orange cream and chocolate malt are back. Sounds good. Yeah, that coconut cream pie sounds like a good flavor for sure. You say the only ones I've ever tried is the chocolate toffee and the butterscotch. Those are the only two I've ever tried, and again, it was only in Chaffles that I've tried them. But I did the one other recipe that I made. Yeah, I think it was with keto chow. Is I actually mixed it in with butter like the clarified butter when you melt down the butter. I can't remember what that's called now. No, I completely gapping out here. But yeah, I mixed it in with butter, and that really tasted good. So I've used it as ingredients for things, but I've never actually used it as a shake. So, but those flavors do sound really good. It's just little packets. Like I say, if I wind up ever sending you something else, then I'll send that down to you. I haven't tried any of those, but wow, they sound good. We just make smoothies. A good quality ingredient smoothies sound just as good to me too. All the keto bricks to make keto houses. Yep, for sure. Thanks for coming in, Brenda. Have a good night. Appreciate you being here. It's actually good to know about the high sodium because I have to increase my salt during the warmer months for medical reasons. Yep. And I don't even know necessarily what the sodium content is in a keto brick. I just know that the flavor is really salty. And that's, over the years, that's the sort of feedback that I've gotten from people about keto brick and why they don't like them. So yes, Reese's brown butter. Ghee I haven't made before, but I've made brown butter bites. So I made, the first time I made like half just by itself, and then half of it I mixed in some of the chocolate toffee keto chow powder, and it really turned out pretty good. So brown butter is another one of those things that I would probably make more if butter wasn't so darn expensive. So cool. So hopefully everyone's having a good week so far. Keto bricks are 790 milligrams of sodium. Yeah. So definitely salty for sure. But we have to remember that keto brick is also 1,000 calories in one brick. So most people, I say most people, wouldn't be eating a full keto brick all at once. There are people that do it, but it's I would say that most people wouldn't be, sitting down and eating a whole brick at a time. So does ghee have a distinct kind of taste? Yes, it does. It's kind of hard to describe it. I think whenever you clarify butter, it starts to sort of take on a nutty type flavor. I know brown butter does for sure, but it's been a long time since I actually used ghee. When I first started keto and I was making fat bombs, like a lot of different fat bombs, I would use ghee in them just to add some fat to it. But yeah, it's been quite a while since I had that. And I don't know what the price is typically for ghee these days, if it's cheaper than getting butter, because you can buy like a whole tub of ghee, especially if you go to your grocery store and you go into like even like an Asian foods aisle or whatever, you can get it there. It's funny, you can find ghee in different parts of your grocery store. At least that's the way I find it. So I could need a whole brick. Do you melt yours into molds? I do. I have a silicone mold that allows me to melt it into 10 even the 10 even pucks, I guess you called it. So again, it turns it into basically 100 calories per bite or per serving kind of thing. And then I usually just keep them in the freezer, and when I feel like having something like that, then I just grab one. Again, unfortunately, it's one of those things. The last keto brick I had was actually from Keto Palooza. uh, way too expensive to order here in Canada from Keto Brick themselves. I have in the past ordered them direct from Keto Brick and had them shipped here, and it wasn't too bad. It was, a price that I was willing to spend for a good quality product. But the shipping makes it out of reach now. Basically, I used to buy a week or like 7 bricks at a time kind of thing. Shipping basically doubles the price of things now. Plus our exchange rate is horrible right now. So by the time you factor in exchange rate, taxes, and shipping, it's just, unfortunately, it's not. Which Grocery in Canada is the only distributor for Keto Brick. And they're like way too expensive there too. So again, I don't know what they're trying to do, but I don't see them lasting very long the way they price their things. But anyways, I do enjoy them, and yes, I do melt them down. I just find that's easier because a lot of the Keto Bricks are they fall apart when you try and just eat them right off the brick kind of thing. So a lot easier to actually deal with when they're smaller. So enjoying the backsplash. Yep. So far, so good. It's a big change in the kitchen. That's for sure. It was a lot of work, and I'll be happy if I never, ever have to install tile ever again. It wasn't something I've done worse jobs, but yeah, I'm definitely not a huge fan of installing tile. So, but yeah, so far so good. It's really improved the look of our kitchen, and yeah, so now I can move on to the next project, whatever that might be. At ShopRite, the ghee is sold in the Asian area. Yep. And saying you make your own ghee. Yep. That's definitely another way to do it. Would avocados be a source of fats? They are cheap. I know I would have to avoid the ones with a peel. Yep. Avocados are, if you can get avocados at a reasonable price, I would say go for it. I don't, they're going to give you a good, healthy source of fats. I don't know what the overall macros are in avocados. So what's it say here? Avocado has a relatively high fat content and a significant amount of fiber, making a good source of healthy fats and good option for those looking to increase their fiber intake, which whatever. A whole medium avocado contains 22 grams of fat. It is 13 grams of carbs, but that's negligible. It's 10 grams of fiber. So, I love avocados. I'll eat them any chance I get. So yeah, if you can get those cheap, I would definitely say that that's a good. Amy loves avocados. So do I. I don't get them as much as I'd like to. But again, it's one of those things that is, avocados are never in season in Southern Canada because they don't come from Southern Ontario, Canada. So it's they're never, I don't really find they're ever of good quality, but once in a while I like to buy them. I prefer to actually buy like the pre-made guacamole things, as long as you find some that are not full of crap ingredients. I like it that way because they last longer. So is homemade kombucha a good thing for keto? Not necessarily if you want to specifically talk about keto macros and sort of the kind of carb limits you're looking to keep restricted on a ketogenic diet. kombucha as a product, as long as it's not, full of added sugars and stuff like that, I think is fine. If you're, I personally, I don't, I've had it a couple of times. It's not something I have very often, but I sort of equate that to the way I look at kimchi or sauerkraut or some foods like that. Kimchi is quite high in carbs as well, even if it's 100% natural and there's no added sugars to it. But that's just mainly because of the processes and the carbs that are in the vegetables that are in it, right? But the way I look at it, I weigh the benefits and any possible, downsides to it. And for me, the benefit of having something that's fermented every day, I'll gladly sacrifice that, that um, carb limit to get those fermented foods into my diet. That's definitely been my sort of opinion for the last few months now. And again, I think I said a couple of times last night, it really all depends on where you are in your journey too. Like if you can uh, get to the point where you do things that are to help you feel better and not necessarily to try and stay strictly ketogenic, right? So again, days that I eat kimchi with my meal, I'm probably getting up over the total carbs that I should be, but the benefits of the probiotics and everything that come along with it and the way it makes me feel, I'll gladly sort of make that sacrifice. And like it's good for gut health as well. It's along the same lines, I think, as far as the fermented foods. It's great for the gut, and again, if it's to help the way you feel and to heal gut issues, I think I'm all for it. So we just had avocado with our burgers. Sounds good. I was looking for some macros for I know I need something better than what I have. Yep, for sure. But I wanted to look to see sort of what typical avocados have. But yeah, they're definitely a good fat source. I eat avocado almost every day. I buy them in the net bags when I see them on sale. I buy a Good Food brand avocado puree at Costco. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, having puree on hand for something like that would definitely be easy to use. Since I worked in produce, I can always find ones that are ripe. No. Are you drinking probiotics or I make my own kimchi with low carb veggies, but not sure what's in kombucha. Yeah. Either am I. I don't know a lot of what's in the like kombucha and stuff like that. Some store-bought kimchi has added sugar too. Yes, absolutely right. I have done a lot of searching and found 2 or 3 brands here that are readily available that don't have any added sugar whatsoever. And I've found one that is super spicy, which I really love. But yeah, you definitely have to watch out for the ingredients because they do add sugar to them. We're going to work on gut health. Kombucha is good, but to get away from the produce kombucha, which has added sugars, you have to grow your own SCOBY. Carbs about 4 per serving. So yeah, there you go. Again, lots of people know a lot more about this stuff than I do. I'm still in the sort of, I like to spend a fair bit of time getting to know how things work for me, like fermented foods, kimchi, sauerkraut, that kind of thing. So far, I'm really convinced that it is helping the issues that I've had in the past. Sort of my next step will be to sort of dive into the whole homemade kimchi and stuff like that, and learn how to do it myself. And then I can experiment with different things and make it the way that I want to. So for me, I like when I'm trying to help myself feel better. I don't like to try and make it myself kind of thing. I don't know if it makes sense. It's just easier for me to stay on track with using it every day if I don't have to worry about, oh, I need to make more of this kind of thing. So I use black tea and add fruits and cayenne and cane sugar. Yeah. Yeah. Again, it's sort of whatever works for each of us kind of thing. So, okay. Well, we're getting down to the end of things for tonight. I did say at the beginning that I was thinking about changing up the schedule a little bit. I think for the rest of the summer, it seems things are pretty busy. I'm really busy at work and a lot going on at being life. I'm probably going to change the Thursday night live stream schedule to every other week for the rest of the summer. So we're on tonight. So we'll be on Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. 2 weeks from now, and then we'll just stick on a rotating 2-week period. If things in my schedule look different, I may, do 2 weeks in a row and then skip a week just to move it back or forth kind of thing. So hopefully everyone's, like I say, can understand what's, I don't want to say I'm going to be here every week. And then, lately I haven't been able to be here every week. So I think it's just easier so that all of you know what to expect from the channel going forward for the rest of the summer, at least, and then maybe next winter or next fall, we can get back to doing every Thursday at 7:30. And then as far as the videos go, for the last while, I've been doing 5 p.m. Sunday premieres on the videos. Last week, I did a Saturday morning premiere on the video, and overall, even though it's moving it up a day, it actually worked out better for my sort of schedule. So I think for the foreseeable future, I'm going to stick with the Saturday morning at 9 a.m. To release the weekly videos. That gives it, there's a couple of things involved with it. It's just I have more time at that time to be at the premieres. Plus, it gives the video a bit of time during the day on Saturday for people to see it. I don't know. It seemed to work out pretty good last week. So we're going to roll with that for the foreseeable future, see how things work out. Again, I've got what I think will be a decent chaffle recipe this week. We'll see how it turns out. And I make that tonight or tomorrow. Yeah, so we'll release that 9 a.m. Eastern on Saturday morning. So hopefully everyone, let me make sure we're not missing anything. Joe's saying adding cayenne sounds good. I usually add ginger for the second ferment. Cool. And uses ginger and blueberries. That sounds good. Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks for hanging out with me tonight, and thanks for coming over, Ann. I appreciate you. Hopefully we can hang out 2 weeks from now at the next live stream and have another good conversation. This is basically what we do at the live streams. Amy and I were talking, Rockin' Keto. Amy and I were talking there earlier. Amy, I'll send you an email, and we'll get something on the books to do live streams on each other's channels, kind of thing, and get to know each other's communities. A lot of the same people, but there'll be people that each of us don't know. So just like last night, there's been people that found out who I am and what I'm trying to do, and then I'd like to introduce everyone here to what you're doing on your journey. So we'll get that in the books, and looking forward to that for sure. Have a great and cheesy night, Carrie. Cool. Okay, well, enjoy the rest of your week, everyone. Watch for the next recipe video Saturday morning, and we will see you in 2 weeks' time at 7:30 p.m. Eastern for another sort of Thursday night hangout, chit chat, keto conversation. Till then, keep on thriving, my friends.